Just here at the park, how about the most severe one that happened in Pacific Beach last night? One woman was killed when a tree fell on her car, crushing her. 4 other cars were damaged during that collapse. Witnesses say they rushed in to help, but there was really nothing they could do. Meanwhile, this morning in Ocean Beach, a palm tree fell on an SUV. Take a look. The tree wasn't uprooted. The wind was so strong, it snapped it in half at its base.
Out. Heavy rains and bone-chilling winds.
أثر على الطقس في
The reason behind last week's cold wave is what we call the Cypress Low. It's when the atmosphere's temperature in that region radically drops. It usually lasts just 3 days, but unfortunately it has lasted a whole week this year. Therefore, the temperature low is harsher than any year. That's part of the effect of the global climate change.
This video you're looking at is a large wedge tornado that touched down in Aliceville, Alabama yesterday afternoon. Now, this report came in just before 5 o'clock yesterday. This tornado started. It was a large and destructive tornado that caused damage to homes across Pickens County with, believe it or not, only minor injuries reported. Aliceville is about 45 miles west of Tuscaloosa, where a tornado devastated the city in April of 2011. And it wasn't just Aliceville. Now, this is McMullen, Alabama, which is just in the vicinity of Aliceville. And look at all that damage.
Drawn to that big dust cloud in the background emerging there through the sky. This is near Christchurch in New Zealand, where a moderate earthquake struck not too far away, and some of that dust, of course, the debris flowing up from that cliff that collapsed as a result of the shaking. Again, Christchurch, New Zealand experienced an earthquake early on Sunday afternoon local time. The quake was a magnitude 5.8, shallow, with the epicenter at a depth of close to 8 kilometers.
A powerful earthquake in Oklahoma's recorded history jolted the northern part of the state this weekend. The magnitude 5.1 quake centered near Fairview was felt in 7 states overall. Maria Villarreal has more on Oklahoma's dramatic spike in earthquakes.
The ground keeps shaking in Oklahoma, and more violently. This year already 140 quakes, 3.0 or larger, an average of 2.5 per day. Before 2008, the average was 1.5 per year.
Tonight, a dangerous commute home in the Northeast. In Philadelphia, winds over 50 miles an hour, knocking over this tractor trailer on the Walt Whitman Bridge. The threat extending all the way south. A violent tornado captured on camera in Pompano Beach, Florida. Watch as this driver approaches a massive twister. The street becomes an obstacle course. Security cameras catching the storm move in. Planters and debris becoming projectiles, even destroying that security gate. In all, 20 reported tornadoes across 5 states in 24 hours. Near Pensacola, a miraculous rescue. An elderly woman pulled from under the rubble after a tornado hit her home. The rescuers forming a human chain to get her out. Hallelujah! Just north of Scranton, Pennsylvania, a massive pileup. 8 tractor trailers slamming into each other on black ice and crushing small cars. Incredibly, only minor injury.
The most powerful storm ever recorded to impact Fiji. This is pretty much going to make a direct hit between 10 and midnight local time, and they are going to experience winds of about 200 miles per hour. It is containing winds of about 295 kilometers per hour with gusts well over 300 kilometers per hour. And it is going to continue on this westward track. It's not expected to lose much strength before crossing over the islands. And it is going to finally make that dive down to the south. But this is going to be a very, very powerful storm. Not only the winds, but also the rain. We are going to see the potential for extreme flooding as well as storm surge in the next 12 hours.
Racing to get out of the way of Cyclone Winston, the strongest storm on record to hit Fiji. It's been battering the outer eastern island of Tavi-Ini with high winds and heavy rain. A nationwide curfew was imposed at 6 p.m. local time. Many islanders opted to stay at home rather than go to government shelters. But many buildings are flimsy and may not withstand such powerful winds. Rough seas across a wide area are also endangering boats and ships. Fiji is an archipelago of more than 300 low-lying islands, prone to sea surges and flash flooding. This massive storm is slow-moving and likely to dump lots of rain on land, destroying crops.
Rescue going on right now to get the crew of a stranded fishing boat to safety in New York. A Coast Guard helicopter is trying to pull crew members off the boat. An early attempt to rescue the sailors failed when a Coast Guard boat capsized. All the Coast Guard crew members swam to safety.
And these are live pictures right now. This rescue effort comes after violent storms swept along the East Coast. Winds flipped over a semi-truck on New York's George Washington Bridge. The storm brought down a home in the Bronx, but no one was hurt. Falling power lines on Long Island sparked at least one car fire. The powerful band of storms is responsible for at least 8 deaths in the South. Several tornadoes ripped through Virginia, killing 4.
A deadly storm system lashed the East Coast Wednesday, pummeling it with violent winds and torrential rain. Multiple tornadoes were reported in Virginia, where at least 4 people have died and dozens more have been injured. 3 died here in Waverly, a 2-year-old child and 2 men who were found 300 yards from their mobile home. In Pennsylvania, more than 30,000 people lost power. Authorities issued tornado warnings and several homes were torn apart. A steady downpour led to flash flooding in and around Washington, D.C., where drivers slogged through the evening commute. At least 3 tornadoes were reported in North Carolina. Straight-line winds and pounding rains toppled trees and cut one home nearly in half. Time-lapse video shows the storm as it rolled through downtown Charlotte. The system made its way to the northeast, where strong gusts flipped over this truck in New York. And in New Jersey, manhole covers were sent flying into the air. The wet weather caused underground electric explosions in Elizabeth.
It started during the lunch hour in Louisiana. Triple tornadic waterspouts developed over Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans.